Y'all, we have another workshop with the Hustle Lab and KVA agency. It's no secret. This is my mom, my heart, my everything. She is the backbone of a lot of my organizational stuff. And I was like, Mom, you need to do a workshop. Because I knew a lot of small business owners could use her. And I have the privilege of her being my mom, but I know some of y'all in the public got some small businesses that are lacking in the organization department. So we hope to provide you with just a little bit of information about how to organize your business, the back end. We focus a lot on the front end, but now it's time we talk about some of the calendar management, email management, all of those things. So I'm going to let you share your screen, Mom. And you can kick it off when you're ready.
Okay, so hey everyone, and thank you again, Kia, for prompting me to do this and for the great intro. As she said, I am her mom. I'm not really one for public speaking, so I want to thank you, Kia, for pushing me and getting it out there. Let me just start to share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen? Kia?
You're good.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let's just start off. Like she said, I own KVA Agency, and let me tell you a little bit about KVA Agency and myself. So first, to start off with me, I have about 24 years of office experience, customer service experience. I have a bachelor's degree in social science. I have a lot of different certificates in customer service, productivity, small business management. So I decided in 2021 to put all that together to help small business owners, and I started KVA Agency because I saw there was some organization lacking in a lot of small businesses, and I really wanted them to win. So that's how we get KVA Agency and how I get to support Akia and her businesses, as well as help some other small businesses. Here are my handles where you can find me on IG for a little bit more about me and KVA Agency. Um, so let's just go ahead and get started. So as Kia said, I'm all about organization. I'm super organized. Kia knows me personally, so she knows that I'm a super checks and balance type of person. So what I did see in some small businesses are you have a great idea, you even have it started, but there's lack in the organization. So I just created this. If you're going to be about your business, be about your business. So in order to be on point with your business, I feel like you definitely need to have some calendar management skills. So one of the things I always suggest, always have a calendar, always write it down. I notice a lot of people don't have booking links. Please have some type of booking system. And I know when you're a startup, you're trying to do everything kind of bootstrap. So I'm going to give you some free options. Google is free. I know everyone probably has a Google Calendar or Outlook. Calendly has a free booking system that you can link with your calendar. You can sync with your calendar. So I always suggest that small businesses put everything on your calendar. If it's not in your calendar, it's not getting done. Um, so that'll keep you organized as well as updating. When you start your calendar, Google Calendar, everybody has Google Calendar, update everything, the location, the time. It's a spot for updating notes. You want to set a reminder 30 minutes before, I would say, a day before. That way nothing slips through the cracks. You want to also review it frequently. um what else about the calendar? I'm the type of person that needs a planner as well as a calendar. So I do a Google Calendar. I have a booking link as well as a planner. So you also can kind of miss and match, if that makes sense. Does
So
anyone have questions?
So mom, tell me, if I'm not me, tell me, do I need a calendar link before I get that first client? Do I need a calendar link from the beginning, or should I focus on getting my calendar together once I've already started making money?
You should get a calendar link from the beginning. Even if you don't have a calendar, you want to set yourself up for success. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to put all this out to get a client, and then when you get it, it's like, oh, what I do now. You want to put a great um impression out, even if you just have one client from the beginning. So you want to start on the back end first.
Yeah, I think that was key. And the reason why I asked you that question right now too is a lot of small business owners are so focused on, let me get Instagram up and running, let me get the website up and running, kind of like some of the things that are going to get in front of their customer, but forget the behind the scenes, that once you get that customer, you don't want to leave a bad taste in their mouth because you're not organized. So I noticed that a lot too in my own experiences as a customer with like hairstylists or nail techs. Like they'll have all the stuff look cute on Instagram, but then when I actually go through their processes and I actually become a customer, it might be like gaps in communication or unclear cancellation policies on when they can cancel on me, when I can cancel on them, what's going on with my deposit. Like I feel like a lot of that could be solved with a booking link, with not only, okay, I want to book my appointment, but then also like when I book, how do I cancel? How do I get a refund? Like that type of stuff. That's what I noticed, at least working with clients that kind of are service based. They don't really have this part together. They'll have all the other stuff cute, but the behind the scenes is not there.
Right. So everyone puts in a lot of effort and work into the art or the craft, which is cool and that's fine. But they neglect to think about how these things are gonna, the operation part of the business. So when you're lacking that, it can be as cute as it wants to be. The customer vibe is going to be off, and what's going to be presented to the customer is going to be off. So you're going to get a lot of one and done type of customers.
Sorry. No returning customers, which is like where the bulk of your money comes from in business. And I think a lot of small business owners, when they're just starting out, are so focused on getting the new customer, new customer, new customer. They forget that you want that to be a new returning customer. Like once they purchase the first time, you want them to come back. So that's where these processes come in.
Right, because let's face it, one of the main reasons people get into business is to make money. So you're not gonna make the money that you need to make or stable if you don't have returning customers. Let's just be
Right.
honest about it.
It's not sustainable. Like it
Right,
may work for right now, but you won't be able to keep the business for years.
right.
Right.
So let me just pause and say this really fast. Let me preface this. So I'm a very simple person. I believe in keeping things simple, and speaking frankly. And right now, Akia, frankly, I need for you to take over the screen sharing because I couldn't see, and I like to see people when I talk to them. So if you could do that for me, Kia, take over the screen sharing and start my presentation or my slide at communications.
I got you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Here you go. Can you see it?
Right, so much better. Thank you.
Got it. Um, next slide, or did you want to continue with this?
I'm good with this unless someone has questions.
No questions from me. I think no questions in the chat.
Okay,
If they have questions, you can answer at the end of the Q&A.
right.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so in addition to the calendar, I need for clear communication. And this one, I titled this one, If You're Gonna Do Business, Then Do Business. Um, so a lot of times you will run into a small business. It's just the one person, like I said, bootstrapping. What will happen is they won't have clear and concise communication, or they won't have centralized communication for their customers, which in turns leads to a bad impression for the customer, miss money, and miss opportunities to improve your business. So, what I suggest, I love email. I know the new generation coming up is kind of like DMs and stuff, and that's fine. That's another way for your customers to reach you. But I think you should make everything centralized. So even if people do contact you through your DMs, you can set up your DMs to direct it to your email. Um, you want to just answer everything from one spot, which is going to keep your office more organized, and it's going to stop you from missing things, if that makes sense. And you want to check whatever platform that is, or whatever centralized spot that is. Make sure that you check that frequently. I suggest daily, maybe twice a day, depending on how your business flows. Only you know how your business flows, but you want to set up blocks of time for you to check and respond to those communications. Another thing about communication is onboarding, which is just a fancy way of saying you want to be clear with roles and expectations from yourself, what you're going to provide to the customer, what the customer and what you expect for them to do, as well as your staff, and where they can get help. So that's going to stop a lot of um communication, a lot of where do I book, a lot of what happens if I need to cancel, a lot of do I get my refund. That's all up front. You want to do clear client communication. So don't skip or onboarding. A lot of people just skip that and run to, I'll give the example of a hairdresser. They'll just skip the onboarding part in the booking and just run to the stylist, the cute part, like we had talked about before. Don't skip that, because it's going to help you later on down the line, and it's going to let your customers be like, oh yeah, she really on point. I already know what to do. She already told me where I could get help. She already told me where to email, where to cancel. It also helps your staff, because your staff, hopefully you're going to grow to have a staff and other people, and you're not going to be bootstrapping it forever. So therefore it's clear and concise on what's to be done, and make sure that customers are taken care of. Another thing you want to add to clear communication, um, email is great, but email can get a lot of bogged down. If you're getting a lot of emails, you may not have time to respond to a lot of emails. So try to be proactive. And I love a frequently asked questions. Add a frequently asked questions to your policy, so that way it's kind of a self-service. You already head off a lot of questions and be proactive with your customer service instead of reactive, which is going to take you more time to be reactive than proactive. You can go to the next.
And on that note too, I'll just chime in, Mom. Like for me, this is where my mom really helped my business, is setting up the operating procedures, or the standard operating procedures, SOPs, policies. She really helped to like look at it from a customer perspective, because ultimately if you're having bad communication with your business, whatever business you're working with, like, so let's say for example, you brought an item from someone at a pop-up shop, and at that pop-up shop you notice something funny about whatever it is. Maybe you got, I don't know, I'll use my brand for example. So you got some body butter, you get home and you feel like the body butter isn't, something's wrong, like the bottle or the jar cracked on the way home, and you want something, right? If that person contacts me and says, hey, I was at one of your pop-up shops, the bottle cracked on the way home, or the jar cracked on the way home, I didn't get a chance to enjoy my product because it was spilled all over the bag. Like, even though as a business owner, I'm like, okay, that's you that cracked that bottle, right? From a business perspective, that person contacts me and I don't respond, or I respond in a way that's not sensitive to their issue, then it's like, oh, I don't want to shop with them no more because I tried to get this problem resolved and they couldn't resolve my problem. Like, client communication goes a lot further than just you talking to your client in that one sale. I'm a marketer by trade, by this my talent, this what I do. And at the Hustle Lab, I always tell people to build a community. You can't build a community if you're known for being the business who doesn't respond to emails, who you can never get them on the phone. Every time I try to place an order, I don't know how to do it. Like, that's what it means to, if you're gonna do business, then do it. You can't be
Right.
that business that doesn't have the follow up. You quick to come get the money, but when I have an issue or I have questions, I can never get my answers. Like, you don't want to be that business.
Right. And like you said, that is super, like super horrible. It's nothing worse than having an issue or sending a inquiry to a business and they don't respond. So you always want to respond. And like I said, you want to respond in a timely manner. So I would say the standard is within 48 hours. Maybe you could stretch it to 72 hours. If it was depends on your business and what the question is. If it's something like you just said, Akia, with someone having an issue with a product, you want to respond within 24 hours, 24 business hours. But you definitely want to respond. And some people think, oh, I don't, my answer is going to be no. Even if the answer is going to be no, you want to respond and you want to phrase it in a way that you do understand and express empathy, and then state your policy and then the resolution. So you always want to respond. And we all been to places where you can't get nobody to call you back. You can't get nobody. Sometimes you can't even find no number. So let's just back it up there too, because I'm also geared to small business owners. Please, even if you can't have your number out there, because I get it, you're a small business owner, and like I said, you bootstrapping, it might just be you. Have an email set up for customer inquiries and respond to those emails. Don't just leave them sitting there. Don't just ignore them. Don't have it difficult for your customers to get in contact with you, which also goes back to, like I was saying, onboarding. When you onboard your client, you're going to give them all that information that they need to get in contact with you, what if they need help, which that falls under help. And you're going to also let them know in that, hey, we respond back in 48 business hours. It's very clear. You want everything to be extremely clear.
And just because this is a workshop, right? I'm gonna give you, literally, if you make that Google account my mom talked about on the last slide, that's gonna come with a Gmail account so that you can receive emails. So let's just say you make one for your company, even if right now you can't get the at yourcompany.com, you just need to get xyzcompany@gmail.com. Get an email for your company that will come with a Google Calendar that you can keep yourself organized with. Calendly syncs up with Google Calendar. So if you need to make a booking link out of that, you can get a booking link and sync it to that calendar for your company. And then that can also come with a Google Voice number. So if you don't, I know some people don't recommend Google Voice, but I believe in making the best with the opportunities that you have right now until you can get to a point and you consistently, that's what reinvesting into your business is. Do the best with what you can right now. Google is free. A Google Voice number is free. It's a way to have your business calls and texts. That's what I used when I first started. Your business calls and texts in a app that's not your phone number, so your phone number is not outside for the world to see. You can have a separate business thing when you want to log into your business phone. You can log into your business phone and get a business phone number, and all of that right there, that can just set up your client communication as well as your calendar management, as well as like just whatever you need an email for. So I think that that's key, especially in service-based businesses where you're a service-based business. You have to deliver some sort of action to somebody. And I know for me, what I see from clients and what I know as myself as a customer, there will always be questions. And you need to have multiple ways of responding to them. So that frequently asked questions page, there should be something. How do I get in contact with blah, blah, blah? Oh, is our number. Here's our customer support email. Here's our this, that, and the third. I don't care if you're a small business or you're a major corporation. I think that those things are just key to doing business and doing it well.
Right. So, like you said, there are ways to do things that are free, which are a lot of things that I propose free and low cost things, because I get it. It's a small business, like I said, small business startup. So when you're starting up, and a lot of people, let's be honest, a lot of people are starting up still have a 9 to 5. Okay. So obviously you have to work on your craft, your product, and what you're putting out. You also have to have a 9 to 5, because quite frankly, that's how you feed yourself. That's how you take care of you and your family, right? So we don't always have time to be answering no phone. All right. So that's why I really, really am a proponent of all those three things, like you said, Kia, on Google are free. Your Google Gmail, that is your business account. Please separate your business and your personal account. Please do not have things going to a personal email account. But like I said, if you have a family, have a 9 to 5, you definitely still have time. You have 15 minutes on your lunch to check those emails and respond back to those emails. Because even though you are doing this part-time, you don't want to present a part-time vibe to your customers, if that makes sense.
And also just chiming in on there's no excuse that your business doesn't have a website. I, as a marketer, I know this as also a person. If your business does not have a website, I'm telling you, the first thing people gonna think is, why they ain't got no website? Or the first people gonna think is, I can't find nothing. Because I know that if I try to find somebody, let's say somebody told me go to the such and such spot up the street, and I want to see what their menu looks like before I go to the place, the first thing I'm going to do is Google that place, and I'm expecting to find some kind of website. I don't need it to be fancy. I don't need it to be, work with what you have right now. Google also comes with Google Sites. You need help setting up Google Sites? The Hustle Lab pretty much designs on every platform, but Google Sites is free. And when you get the funding or the money, or you just spare money to connect your domain to buy the www.yourcompany.com, you can connect that to your Google Sites. If you need a lot of service providers just need a basic website that tell me their policies and how to book. That's the two major questions: policies, how to book. Google Sites will let you put up pictures of your old work. Like, Google Sites comes with that Google Voice number. So honestly, like you said, it's called the Google Suite, or basically just all of their products comes with a filing cabinet with Google Drive. It comes with an email with Gmail. It comes with a phone number with Google Voice. It comes with a website for Google Sites. Like, that can all come with creating one account. And I think a lot of business owners just need to take full advantage of it, because the tools are there. I know most people that have a Gmail account. It's free. You just need to sit down and take advantage of that, because you're so focused on new customer, new customer, new customer, and you want to bring money into the business, but how you going to keep it coming? Getting new customers is expensive. And like, that's just across the board. I don't care who you are. I don't care what business you have. It's expensive. You have to put out money in advertising, put out money and recruiting people. Like, it's expensive. So just piggybacking off of what you said, Mom, I think if you don't know where to start, the step right now is to just go to your Gmail account. You have the tools right there. You just need to activate them.
Right. And to piggyback off of what you're saying, I'm going to keep it all the way real. I use Google Sites because I'm a service provider. All you need to know is information about me, information about my service, where you could book me. Why would I pay for that in the stage in which I'm in? So just because you are a small business or you're a startup, you could still be polished. You can still have it together, which is why there's an explanation part after that, because I get frustrated sometimes when I see small business owners and I see startups. Like I said, they have a great idea, but there's no organization, or it might be haphazard in how you're communicating and dealing with your clients. If you're going to do business, then do business. Is no excuse, like you said. And I think, like, this is why I wanted to do this workshop, is because I think people don't know, like, or haven't thought, like, hey, I could use that for that and I could use that for that. You think, like, because you see other people doing stuff, that you have to spend so much money to do something. And when you're starting up, let's face it, your capital is stretched. But that doesn't mean that your experience has to be stretched, if that makes sense.
That was perfect. Like, work, like, yeah, like you said, make the best. I mean, maybe that's just our upbringing, where we from, but make the best of what you have right now, and that will get you what you need to go to the next level. You would have had that great customer experience. I know so many. That's one thing I never hide where I'm from. I know so many businesses in the hood right now that they don't even realize what they already had of people talking. Imagine if you had the website too. Like, just imagine if you just used this tool, what this could be for your business and stuff like that. Think about that. Restaurants, caterers, all of that. If you're not online, somebody visiting your city, visiting your town, visiting your area has no clue you exist. So just by getting a website up and published, just by getting an email easily accessible, you know that you can open up your bag so many different ways. If you have a storefront, any person with a physical location, you need an online presence as well. I know that, and just from what I do with my clients and my businesses, you need an online presence as well. And that online presence needs to match what they're going to see in person, what they've heard about you. If there's any inconsistencies in what I heard, what I've seen, and what I've experienced in business, that usually adds up to I'm not coming back a second time because I'm disappointed. My expectations was set here and I didn't get that. Or some people off rip online could give you bad expectations and you say, I don't even have a first time in me. So this client communication gets bigger than just being organized. The organization will bring the dollars that you're hoping for as a startup to get that business off the ground. You gotta use what you have right now to get to that point. If you're not taking advantage of the time right now, you got to build the skills now. I guess like in budgeting, they'll tell you if you can't budget $10, you can't budget 10,000. Like
Right.
you have to know what to do at this level, and these are some free opportunities. If you have the capital to invest in the website and getting a customer support representatives, do that as well. But our startups, please, I'm begging you.
Right. You could go to the next slide for me, please. Okay, so with all that being said, we talked about a lot. We talked about the calendar, which calls you to organize and be in track of, and we talked about the communications, which you have to keep a track of. So the next one, make your life simple. It's hard. It's hard out here running a business. I don't know whoever said it was easy. I don't know, but it's not. So when you can make your life simple, go ahead and make your life simple. And I am a proponent of, it's called a CRM, which is a customer relationship management software or technique or technology, I should say. So one thing, it should be centralized and it should be shareable, because again, I get you a startup, but you're not trying to stay a startup, right? So you might bring on other people. You need that to be shareable. You don't need it just to be in Ivory's phone, and Ivory the only person that could log onto it if it's a customer problem or you need to follow up with a customer. But you do need some type of tracking. There's free options. Again, Google, like we talked about, you can use a Google Sheet. You can use an Excel sheet just to track your customers, check their contact information, make notes about when you talk to them, make notes about the products that they buy, make notes about the amounts that they spend with you. That's going to take time, of course. You want to start somewhere. So just because you don't have money, the capital to put it in, doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. I see a lot of people just keeping things on Post-its and scraps of paper. That gets confusing and lost. When you talk to your customers, you want to present organization, and you want to present that you care about them enough to know about what the last thing it is that y'all talked about. So I'm a proponent of that. If you have a little bit more capital, Honeybook, Dubsada, HubSpot, 17 Hats, they're reasonable. They're not a lot. They're under $100 a month if you have that in your capital. I would suggest that you do start off with something in those ranges, because you're going to be able to make your life simple a little bit by some of the programs they already have embedded in some of the CMRs that are available. Again, they're under $100. Actually, they're under $50 if I'm thinking about it per month, depending on your plan. And you have to pick the one that's best for you. The advantage of having a CMR, if you have a CMR like a Honeybook, you're gonna have a scheduler. It's gonna sync with that Google Calendar. You're gonna have contracts, proposals, invoices. You're gonna have project notes. You're gonna have lead generation. All these things for I believe the basic HoneyBook package might be about $40 now. And that's going to present to your clients, hey, she's on point. She know what she's doing. I like doing business with her. She's upfront. Her communications, her contracts is on point. She always send me stuff on time. She always send me stuff professionally. And then on the back end for your office, you always know what's going on. You can log right into your phone on your app for HoneyBook, if you have a HoneyBook or a Dubsada, and say, hey, last time I talked to Susan, this is what happened and this is what happened. If you don't have that, Google Sheets, I have it on my phone. I can go right on my Google Sheets and see the last time I did this, the last time I inputted that. So it's really no excuse. Make your life organized, but make it simple. It's gonna take a ton off of you than trying to keep up with a text message, a DM, a scrap of paper. Again, if you're gonna do business, do business.
And I want to sing your praises on that because I think maybe, what was that, year and a half ago at this point, you recommended HoneyBook to me, and you sent me a link to it, and I used that link, and I haven't turned back since. Like, HoneyBook has been really great for managing my clients. I'm able to collect, as a marketer, collect passwords, collect images, collect feedback on designs that I've made, and I send it to I do all of that through HoneyBook, and it keeps, like, any email communication I've had with this client is all in one space, like, very, like you said, centralized and focused, but simple, because the only thing I have to do is open up HoneyBook. Anytime I want to do anything for my client, I open this one app. Like, I have my Gmail for people who, like, have questions about working with me, and then, like, business partnerships I work on, but a lot of, and HoneyBook is synced to my Gmail. So when I send messages to my client, I also get a notification that my client has responded to me. It's synced in that way. And then also my client gets a return address that if they wanted to send me an email directly, they have my email address as well, the company email address. And that has made my life better. So thank you, Mom, for HoneyBook, because that actually improved my business and allowed for me to bring in more revenue, because it's simpler for me to get up and work. Literally, and HoneyBook has an app now, so I have it on my phone. So when my client signs their contract, pays their invoice, fills out a questionnaire, it lets me send notifications to them to, like, get reviews and stuff like that. Like, I even have to be transparent about myself. I'm still exploring the platform, and I've been on it for a year and a half. I'm still trying to use all of the features to my advantage. So it's like it's a lot there. And it even syncs up with my QuickBooks. So if you were at the last week's workshop where we talked about finances and having QuickBooks and things like that, it syncs up with my QuickBooks, so that anytime I'm making revenue in HoneyBooks, it's reporting to QuickBooks. Only thing I have to do is, when I'm not working on my clients and I'm working on the finances in my business, I open up QuickBooks. Like, systems are here for a reason. We need systems. And yeah, just thank you, Mom, for that, because I didn't know anything about HoneyBook until you told me.
Right, you're welcome. And I use HoneyBook myself. And like I was saying, as far as syncing your calendars, HoneyBook is synced to my business calendar. I use HoneyBook for my booking. If someone books me, immediately it syncs. It comes on my phone. It sends me an email. It's in both calendars. So it's no way that I'm going to forget that someone booked with me, because there is nothing worse than a client booking for you and then they get there to your shop or to where you're supposed to call them or to Zoom me, and then you talk about something, oh, I forgot. We don't want that. So these type of things, CRMs just make your life simpler. Let's face it, there's a lot going on, because besides just being a business owner, you had where everyone wears many different hats. So I like this because I believe it's an organization system that makes running a business and your life a little bit simpler. So don't make it hard on yourself. So I want everyone to think, like I've mentioned before, I'm talking mostly to startups and small businesses, but I want you to think growth. So when you're planning out your organization for your business, you want to choose what fits best for you right now, because it depends on your service or your product, as far as the different things that we've mentioned before about the calendar, the email, and the CRM. But I want you to think about where you are now, but then think about a little bit further out of where you're going. So you want to try to pick something that gives you potential to grow with you as well. What other things that I want to say? These tools, they stay the same, but you do need to reevaluate your business. I would say at least every 6 to 12 months and figure out, hey, this worked for me, this doesn't work for me. Answering DMs, that's not working. Answering emails, that's not working. We need to twerk this, or we need to twerk how we track our customers. Once you do that reevaluation, this part right here, hire, delegate, training, I have like a small pet peeve because I see a lot of small business owners, they do not do this. And I get it. It's your baby. You starting out, it's just you, but you want it to grow and you want to free up some time with your own life. So I need for you to delegate. And when you delegate, you have to really give it to that person. Don't say you delegated and take it back. So you delegate, you can hire a virtual assistant. A lot of people think that, oh, I can't afford that. You can do project work. You might need somebody just to do your data entry. You could hire them to do that data entry and that's it. You could do part-time. A lot of startups, I would suggest if you need somebody to be a graphic designer, you could go on a lot of these Upwork type of situations and you could hire somebody to design your flyer. One thing I see with small business owners getting lost in the weeds. If you know you're not no graphic designer, don't sit up there for 48 hours trying to design nothing. Go ahead and just pay that one-time thing and delegate that task to free up your life, because I'm all about balance. And that's why I like to tell people about systems and automation. Because like I said, you wear many hats. You made the business to make money, but you also didn't make the business to be a slave to the business, if that makes sense. And last, any questions? Anybody have any questions about anything we talked about?
I have a question on how you could get your DMs forwarded to your email. How you do that?
Okay, so there is a way when you set up in your settings that you can direct your DMs to your email. And if you leave me your email, then we could talk about that on the side, because it's kind of lengthy for me to say, do that, click that right now.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, this was good. I feel like it was a chance for us to be just authentic and real about the situation for business owners. Because I think small business owners, what I'm noticing at least, is just being straightforward, direct. Like, listen, it's just not it. We, like, as small business owners, I get we're all like starting things from our head and we're using our own money, but also these are signs that a lot of small business owners ignore in the beginning, signs that I even did, mistakes that I made, and I'm just now able to reflect and articulate what that was. Is like, we're so busy trying to bootstrap that we're not also like trying to, like you said, think growth. Like, where do I want this to go? We're not as concrete about that. We're just like, oh, I'm just trying to get the business started. And that's a great goal, get the business started. But then once you get it started, what's the goal? Like, what are we working towards? Do we want to stay at this level for the rest of our business? And those are usually signs when you're feeling like, hey, I want to do more with this, but I don't have the time because I'm doing this and the third. Those are the signs that you probably should hire or delegate or automate. And like I said before, I'm a person that believes in, you can delegate through talent and technology. So we talked about technology. We talked about getting set up on Google Drive. Airtable was something I seen up there. I use Airtable as well. Honeybook, those are ways that we can start to automate the process and make it easier for you to take people from interested to booked. But then when we talk about talent, you also brought up places like Upwork, or I tell people it's really great to work with Upwork, agencies, or freelancers, because those people you're paying for their service, not their time, which is different because once you pay somebody for their service, the price is the price. You exchange the money, you get the service that you asked for in return. You want to make sure that you're doing your vetting to make sure this person is suited for your business, of course, in the beginning, but you pay the person for their service and you guys go about your day. Employees, though, which is like one of the things that I think a lot of small business owners like want to get to the point where they can start hiring employees, and they don't see that step in between that. When you're small, you don't have that much money, it's less expensive to hire an agency or freelancer or someone on Upwork or those different type of like freelancing apps. Like it's cheaper for you to do that because you're just paying them for the service. An employee, you're paying for their time, you're paying benefits, you're paying taxes, employment taxes. Like there's a lot that comes with an employee. So I think a lot of small business owners are looking in the wrong areas. Like the first thing they want to go and get is an intern. That comes with a lot of policy following. Are you going to pay this intern a stipend? Like it comes with a lot of that. Whereas an agency or a freelancer, as long as they're following your tips, they should have, what does it look like for a return policy? How much does it cost to work with me? Here's what you're going to expect to get. And we exchange this, you exchange your money for the service, not the time. You don't have to worry about employment taxes and stuff like that. So I think a lot of small startup businesses don't even realize that they're looking in the wrong spots for help when it comes to when they're actually looking for like a person. The other thing about agencies and freelancers, they're already trained. You might not have the time to train an employee, which is why you might not be hiring employees. Or you might feel like, when I finally get the time to sit down and write down an employee handbook, then I'll start getting employees and having them work on my orders or whatever. But you might be looking in the wrong areas for your stage in business. Your stage in business might mean agencies, freelancers, different, like, paying someone for a service versus their time. So that was one thing I did want to touch on. Going back to money, like ultimately you want to do things that brings your business more profit so that you can do more and reinvest and pay yourself and pay your bills or whatever, even if it is a side hustle, to grow that side hustle. So I think that all in all, product-based businesses can benefit from this. It was a great workshop. Anything else you have, Mom?
Yeah, so I'm glad that you kind of touched on that, because I feel like from this workshop, what I want people to walk away with are tools and resources that they can use. It doesn't matter, like you said, where you are in your business. I also feel like I want you to think growth, but I want you to feel like it is okay to mix and match all these options that I gave you. You use a little bit of free, you use a little bit of paid. So like I said, I'm pretty transparent. I use free Google Sites for my website. I pay for Honeybook. Um, Also, if you need to delegate, then it's okay to pay a one-off for this particular project, because let's face it, you don't have the money to pay for an employee or for a full-time staff or a full-time contractor, but you can probably pay for that one thing. Like I said, maybe that graphic designer, or maybe that person that you need to enter that data into one of your free sites. You know what I mean? That's risen one of the free Google Sheets or something. Maybe you don't have time or you don't like to do it. Maybe you can pay that person that price just to enter that data for you. So I just want people to know that you can mix and match. You don't have to just go all way, but there are resources out there for you to use, for you to be a great startup and small business and still stay organized. I also feel like unless you're organized, like we talked about some of the things on calendaring and keeping track of your products and your customers, you don't know what to delegate. So get that together first with the organization, and then you can see where you can delegate to get help, and if it's free help or if it's a low cost help, because I'm all about free and low cost, but I'm about great service at the same time, and we can have all three. But I definitely want to thank you. Like I said, I am not one for doing a whole bunch of public speaking. I'm just kind of like, if you know, you know. So thank you, Kia, for pushing me to do this and giving me the opportunity to do the workshop.
I believe in you. So it was nothing. I'm
My
gonna
kids
go.
are loud in the background a little bit. I'm sorry. But I just want to say you did really good to not really be a fan of public speaking and everything. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you. And I want to thank you, Tiara, for coming to the workshop. I really do.
We got one more slide, or is this the end of our
There's
slide?
one more slide.
Okay.
Okay, so I would like to give everyone a free gift. If you click on the QR, scan the QR code, there is a free organizational gift. So it's just a starting point, and you can start to evaluate your business and see where you need improvement and where you can go to use some of these calendar CRM tools that we talked about.
Yep. So you just open up your camera app right now, and if you just hold the phone up, you don't have to click anything, you don't have to take a picture, you just hold the phone. It will detect the QR code, and then you will see a little yellow button appear on your camera app. You tap that and it will take you directly to your downloadable PDF. You open it up and it will just appear on your phone like this. If you want to save it, there's 3 dots in the corner. It gives you a list of options. You can copy a link, send a copy to yourself, make a copy into your own drive. And you can even print it if you have your phone hooked up to your printer. So this is a dope free gift. I'm actually going to use this gift as well. Maybe this will help us with our next meeting, Mom. But yeah, to improve my processes, because you should always be looking to think growth. I like that slide, think growth. So this is something, maybe, right, this is something we could use for that 6 to 12 month evaluation period, right?
Right. Because you always, even if you're on top and you're doing great, you always want to reevaluate. You always want to think about where you are going, or where you're gonna grow to, or tightening up. And when you're in the thick of it and you're in the business, you don't have time to sit down and draft your services and draft your policies to see, hey, we're lacking here. You always want to reevaluate. So I suggest people do that every 6 to 12 months.
Right. So I just want to leave it so people have ample time. I feel like they had enough time. I'm gonna stop screen share. Yes, so that is the end of our workshop. Very grateful to you, Mommy. Thank you everyone who attended live. If you're watching the replay, drop questions in the comments. Scan that QR code, go back, rewind, do whatever you got to do to get that QR code, and use that tool I'm even going to push these business owners to do a little bit more frequently, Mom. I'm going to say every quarter you need to be looking at your processes, because so many things change from quarter to quarter. We just got out of a quarter. Our first quarter of the year ended in March, and we begun our quarter 2 in April. April is going to looks like spring, that looks like refreshing, that looks like all of these things. Have your systems been refreshed? Do your systems feel like this new refreshed feeling that our customers are feeling as the weather breaks and we're preparing for the end of school and stuff like that? There's a lot going on in quarter 2. People are traveling. So are your systems set up for these new changes? So I'm gonna push people to do it every 3 months. If every quarter, we have 4 quarters in a year, every quarter is 3 months, every 3 months, open that up and review it. And I'm gonna push them to save each of those reflections, and at the end of the year, look how your business has grown and saving those reflections. So you can use it, that PDF, you can keep it on your computer, print it out, do what you got to do. But yeah, that ends our workshop. Any last remarks, Mom, before we sign off?
No last remarks. Just thank you again, and thank you for everyone who attended.
Yes, thank you. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Hustle Lab LLC. My mom is at KVA Agency on Instagram, kvaagency.com as well. And look out for the next workshop coming up. We have a workshop on understanding the legal responsibilities of business credit. So you have questions about business credit, that'd be a good workshop for you to go to. And until then, peace out.